Hiya, it's Saturday afternoon, well Saturday evening, and welcome to The Bard, that's me, the beard, in progress, I'm getting a bit itchy to be honest, and the back bedroom Poetrycast. Here I am, and I left it to Saturday afternoon because Saturday's the day we usually think about football, and we're missing that amongst lots of other things at this time. So I thought I'd talk to you about my football poetry. Obviously you can see by my scarf, my choice of team, and I've supported this team for many, many years. And the reason I'm mentioning football, not because it's Saturday, or not just because it's Saturday, but because very soon I've got this book coming out. And this is called Football for Everyone, poems by myself, and you'll notice the name of Martin Chatterton. Martin has done the artwork for the book, and you'll notice he's put our names on scarves. They're both carefully coloured blue and white, for the reason is we both support the same football team. A little private joke from Martin there for ourselves. So I'll do a couple of football poems for you on this Saturday afternoon. And the first one is called The Footballer's Prayer, and it's one I've been doing a long time now. And I suppose it got inspired by the vicar of our church when I was about 9 or 10 years old, a man called Mr. Alloway, a man of whom I remember two things. The first thing was really big shiny bald head, and the second thing was he was an amateur football referee, and it took me and my mate to various matches he used to referee, often exotic ties like Blackburn Rovers 13 versus Burnley Reserves. But on one particular occasion he took us to Old Trafford, where he was the linesman that night, and we watched Manchester United beat West Bromwich Albion 7-0, and George Best, Bobby Charlton, Brian Kidd, Alex Stepney, people like that were playing, and it was brilliant to see those people live, because you only usually saw them on football cards or occasionally Match of the Day, where Match of the Day was one match of the day, so it wasn't like the TV today. So to see them live was brilliant. Anyway, the Lancashire Evening Post decided to do an article about him. So he had a picture of him with his referee's kit on, and a whistling one on, Bible in the other, something like that. But it's the headline I remembered. They took a line from the Lord's Prayer. Hallowed be thy game. I remember thinking even then, I like it. I didn't know why I liked it then. Now I know I liked it because it was a pun, it was a play on words, and that's what I really like. My Sunday school teacher thought it was blasphemous, but my dad thought it was okay, so that was all right. But it stuck with me. And then later on, I was writing football poems. I thought, I'll write a prayer in the form of the Lord's Prayer. This is it. You can pray for your team. Say after me if you want. Our team, which art 11, hallowed be thy game. Our match be won, their score be none. On turf, as we score, at least 7. Give us today no daily red card, and forgive us our lost passes, as we forgive those who lose passes against us, and lead us not into retaliation, and deliver us from penalties. For 3 is the kick-off, the power and the scorer, forever and ever, full time. And here's a little poem. Footy lookalikes. Grandad thinks he's Bobby Charlton just because he's bald. Uncle thinks he's Peter Crouch because he's really tall. And just because he wears a cap, Dad thinks he's Petr Cech. And brother thinks he's Rooney because he looks like Shrek. Boom, thank you. Now, I mentioned yesterday Corky Paul and John Foster, and this book came out years ago, Fantastic Football Poems. And for many years I'd forgotten about this poem, and it was only because Corky had done that wonderful illustration that I sort of came back to it really. I left it out of a couple of football books I did, The Goalie with Expanding Hands, and this had turned into one of my favourite performance poems when I'm doing football with kids, and you divide the audience in half and they go hands. Any crosses, any shots, I will simply stop the lot. I am always in demand. The goalie with expanding hands. Yeah, that's how it goes, you see. But what a great illustration. And like I say, I've forgotten all about that. So thank you, Corky and John, for putting that in there. I'm actually going to read out a poem now for you called Football Has It All. I suppose it's why I like football, really. History and legacy, champions and trophies, heroes and villains. Football has it all. For the people, by the people. Universal language. Truly international. Football has it all. The World Cup in the playground. Wembley in our gardens. Premier League in every park. Football has it all. Memories to cherish when all time stood still. these bookmarks of our lives. Football has it all. So much we can learn from, so much it can teach us. So very many dreams, because football has it all. And just to finish off with today, here's a poem called "He Just Can't Kick It With His Foot," and it's been a favourite, although I did get stuck on the rhyme on the last verse, but maybe you can help me out at home. John from our team is a goal-scoring machine, phenomenally mesmerising, but the sport is called football, but his boots don't play at all because he just can't kick it with his foot. He can spin it from his shin, or skim it on his chin, or nod it in the net with his nut. He can blow it with his lips, or skip it off his hips, but he just can't kick it with his foot. With simplicity and ease, he can use his knobbly knees to blast it past the keeper, both eyes shut. He can whip it up and flick it up with his tongue and lick it, but he just can't kick it with his foot. Overshadowing the best with the power from his chest, like a rocket from a socket, he can put the ball into the sack with a scorcher from his back, but he just can't kick it with his foot. Baffling belief, with a ball between his teeth, he can dribble his way out of any rut, hypnotise you with his eyes, keep it up on both his thighs, but he just can't kick it with his foot. From his shoulder to his nose, he can juggle it and pose with precision and incision he can cut. Defence is straight in half with a volley from his calf, but he just can't kick it with his foot. He can keep it off the deck, bounce the ball upon his neck. With his ball control, you should see him strut. He can flap it with both ears, tell loud applause and cheers, but he just can't kick it with his foot. Last verse, you need to help me. He can trap it with his tongue, direct it with his bum, deflect it just by wobbling his gut. And when he's feeling silly, he can even use his ankle, 'cause he just can't kick it with his. No, he just can't kick it with his. No, he just can't kick it with his foot. There we go. Anyway, just to reiterate, that book, and that book are special offer on the website, paulcooksandpoet.co.uk, £15 plus postage and packing. Ooh, what value. So there we are. Have a look at those. They make good presents and they'll keep me in toilet roll. As you can see, we're running down a bit, so buy the books, we can survive. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.